طيب الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد. So we're going to discuss matters related to Siyam, related to fasting, inshallah. We're not going to go into matters of difference of opinion among the scholars and stuff. We're going to focus more so on just general things based on the Kitab Manhaj al-Salikin. And it's taking benefits regarding that which is a condition of Siyam and who it's obligatory upon and the likes. Contemporary issues of, why is sighting the moon in this country, all of that stuff. We're not going to talk about that. Because it's just annoying fitna that's become a frequent argument every single year. And this is the issue when you have too much bodies of Muslims within one place that don't follow established authority, as was before. Like at one stage, everything was agreed upon between the masajid, what they would do. But now, the more masajid we have, and people wanting just to be different as well, or feel the need to do something that no one's done before, causes differences. So we won't go into those matters, inshallah. Now, so the first thing, Kitab al-Siyam, as well as Shar'an. الصيام هو linguistically هو الإمساك عن الشيء, just to hold back from something. Just as we know in Surah Maryam, إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلا أكلم اليوم فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا. So here it mentions يعني إني نذرت للرحمن صوما. We mentioned nadar in Kitab al-Tawheed. He said, I have vowed oath of Sawm and al-Kalam, يعني I'm not going to speak today to any person. So هو إمساك عن الشيء, to withhold from something. As for في الشرع هو التعبد لله تعالى بالإمساك عن المفترات. أو يكسي عن الطعام والشراب وسائر المفطرات من طلوع الفجر الصادق إلى غروب الشمس. So it is that a person worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by abstaining from food and drink and all the other things that break one's fast. يعني في حكم الأكل والشرب ونحوه. And other than that, of the things that we know breaks one's fast, like marital relations and the likes. These things a person stays away from the true time of Fajr until sunset, غروب الشمس. And also the foundation of what this is built upon is the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah mentions, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. فالصيام كان مشروعا في الأمم السابقة كما هو مشروع في الإسلام. So it was something that was legislated in the previous nations, as it has been legislated within Islam as an obligation that they had to fast just as we have to fast. Whether it was exactly the same, wallahu a'lam. We don't know the details. All we know is they had to fast just as we have to fast. Also the thing that's mentioned, يعني على من يجب الصيام. يعني على من يجب الصيام يعني صيام رمضان. Upon who is this an obligation? نعم. فالصيام يجب على المسلم البالغ العاقل القادر على الصيام على الصوم. Fasting is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female alike, baligh, that has reached the age of puberty, aqil, of sound mind, qadir ala siyam or som, the one who has the ability to fast. برؤية هلاله أو إكمال شعبان 30 يوما, either by sighting of the moon Here it only mentions 2 reasons. But among the things that are mentioned by Ahl al-Ilm is يعني وَإِذَا جَاءَ خَبْرُ الصَّادِقِ, if the news of a truthful person comes, also that they've seen the moon, then you fast. Or by completing the month of Sha'ban as 30 days إِذَا لَمْ يَرَى الْهِلَالِ, if the new moon hasn't been sighted. If it hasn't been sighted, فيعني إكمال الشهر. وهذا لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا رأيتموه فصوموا وإذا رأيتموه فأفطروا فإن غم عليكم فقدروا له متفق عليه. If you see the new moon, then fast, and when you see the new moon again, break your fast. That's the end of Ramadan. فإن غم عليكم, if it's not possible for you to see it, because of the clouds and the likes, تعذر الرؤيا, فقدروا له في لفظ فقدروا له 30. يعني then count for it 30 days, أكمل إكمال الشهر ب30 يوما. وفي لفظ فأكملوا عدة شعبان 30 رواه البخاري. Now, in all of the narrations, the hadith, number of narrations, it mentions different extra wordings, either فقدروا له, like count it, or count it as 30, or complete the month of Sha'ban as 30 days. ويصام برؤية عدل لهلاله ولا يقبل في بقية الشهور إلا عدلان. Now with Ramadan, they say it's acceptable for one just witness, but as for the rest of the month, then it's needed 2. It needs to be 2. As for Ramadan, جاز شاهد واحد. There was permitted for one witness. As it came in the hadith, I think it was maybe Ibn Umar, one of the Sahaba, had mentioned that they saw the moon. There's only one. And the Prophet said, فَصُومُوا. He mentioned that they should fast after it had only been seen by one of the Sahaba. Also, the thing that's mentioned, يجب تبييت النية لصيام الفرض أما النفل يجوز بنية من النهار. As for Ramadan, then you have to make your intention before Fajr of the first day. And it's sufficient to have one intention for the whole month. Not that you have to make intention every single night. However, they mention if something happens that causes you to no longer be able to fast, i.e. you become sick or the woman has a cycle, all of these things that will sever the fasting, then once you're allowed to fast again, you make a new intention. Now, but in يكفي نية واحدة للشهر الكامل. It is sufficient to have one intention for the whole month, except in those conditions where, for example, you're traveling so you no longer fast, then you make a new intention when you start fasting. However, it must be before Fajr of the day. As for voluntary fast, فيجوز النية في أي وقت. That it's permissible to make intention from any time of the day. However, your reward will be based upon when you started your intention from. So for example, let's say I didn't eat all day and it's Asr time. I haven't eaten, drink, nothing. I can make intention I'm going to fast that day. So as of that moment, that's when it will start that I'll be considered to have been fasting from the time that I made the intention. Now, but that's only for voluntary fast. You can't do that for a fast that's obligatory. Has to be from before Fajr. Now, that is permissible based on the hadith of the Prophet when he came to Aisha anha and there was nothing to eat. And he says, فَإِنِّي صَائِمٌ, then I am fasting. It also shows the manners of the Prophet Muhammad. Look at some people, they'll get angry. Either of the spouses might be like, look how poor you are or how poor we are. You can't even bring no food to the house. He didn't say any of that. Nor did Aisha complain. Anha, he said, Inni sa'im, I'm going to fast. So a person should look at those opportunities that they can gain reward from. and turning something that would apparently be negative to something that was positive. And it means an opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You go home, there's no food in the house. Khalas, then fast. Fast and make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, للرزق الطيب, for those good provisions of His. Now, there are people that can't fast or are excused when it comes to fasting. Al-Marid. الذي يتضرر بالصوم. The first person is the one who is sick. That if they are to fast, it will cause them harm. If fasting will cause them harm or delay their cure, then they're permitted to break their fast and make it up from ayyamin ukhar, other days. As for the one who is traveling, له الاختيار إما أن يصوم وإما أن يفطر. The one who's considered to be a traveler, then they have the choice. Either that they can fast or break their fast. Now,
is it makruh to travel and fast?
if that traveling comes with hardship,
Okay.
because now it's quite easier. It's a lot easier to travel than it was before. You're more in comfort. So to put yourself in hardship by fasting whilst traveling, then it may be disliked. Wallahu a'lam. The second of those who are not allowed to fast, al-ha'id wal nufasa, either from the menses or postnatal bleeding, then these two is haram for them to fast. Rather, alayhima bil qada. Those in those situations have to make it up after. Wal hamil wal murdi', the one who is pregnant or nursing, إذا خافتا على ولديهما أفطرتا وقضتا وأطعمتا عن كل يوم مسكينا. It mentions that if they fear for the child, then they are to break their fast, make it up, and feed for every day a poor person. هنا اختلاف. Now, of the things that is mentioned is they make it up without feeding a poor person. They just make up the days, because حكم الحامل والمرضع حكم المريض. They mentioned that they share the same ruling as one who is sick. Another thing that Sheikh Faisal Jassim benefited us of recently, he mentioned that if a woman is pregnant, that gives birth and then is nursing, and then is a continuous situation, what should she do? She doesn't make up the days, rather she should just feed a poor person for each day. Rather than saying she's going to make up the days later, when this is something that's maybe 5 years have gone by, and it's been the same situation, then they should just feed a poor person for each day. Wallahu a'lam. والعاجز عن الصوم, the one who is not able to fast, إما يعني بسبب كبر السن أو المرض لا يرجى برؤه, either a person because of senior age, or they have a terminal illness, an illness they're not expected to become cured from, then this person feeds a poor person for each day. This person feeds a poor person for each day. Whoever breaks their fast by eating or drinking, or intentionally vomiting, or hijama, which is ikhtilaf bayna hijama, more inclined to, it doesn't break your fast, or it's makruh, disliked, because it may be a means to you having to break your fast if you become weak and the likes. Or other than this, or the thing that is mentioned, then they just have to make it up. As for the person who breaks their fast because of marital relations, then one yaqdi wa yutiqu raqaba, they have to make it up, but they also have to free a slave. Some say they can't make it up as well. Some say because this is as a punishment, it's like they're not allowed to make it up because of the fact they broke their fast in that way. Some say that you're not allowed to make it up. There's no making up for that. But some say you make it up and you free a slave. Or if you don't find a slave to free, then you fast 2 consecutive months. And if you're not able to do so, then you feed 60 poor people. And when it comes to feeding the poor, the needy, when you're not able to fast or in matters like this, you can do it either at one time or every day. Now, so for example, before Eid, for example, you missed a certain amount of days, you can feed all those people at one time. You don't have to do it day to day. As mentioned, that's what Anas ibn Malik radhiallahu anhu used to do, that he would feed them all at one time. Of the thing that's mentioned, the Prophet Muhammad mentioned, "Man nasiya wa huwa sa'im, فأكل أو شرب فليتم صومه فإنما أطعمه الله وسقاه." Muttafaqun alayh. Here mentions, whoever forgets that they're fasting, and they eat and or drink, then let them complete their fast, for indeed Allah is one who fed them and irrigated them, gave them something to drink. So it shows again the ease upon us. That Allah has made it easy. If a person does something out of forgetfulness, they're not blameworthy. They're not blameworthy. As for some of the mannerisms or adab that is encouraged when it comes to fasting, he says, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يزال الناس بخير ما عجلوا الفطرة. Muttafaqun alayh. The people will continue to be upon goodness as long as they hasten towards breaking their fast. At the time of iftar, one should not delay it. One should not delay iftar once the time has come. One should hasten to break the fast at the earliest time permitted. وقال تسحروا فإن في السحور بركة. متفق عليه. Also, a person should have the suhoor, the morning meal, or something in the morning with dates, water, or anything in the morning, as indeed there is barakah in this. There is blessings in this. And the sunnah of as-suhoor, it is ta'khir. The sunnah of suhoor is that a person should delay it as much as possible. To delay it as much as possible. Also of the thing that's mentioned, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر فإن لم يجد فليفطر على ماء فإنه طهور. It mentions that if a person, whenever one of you breaks your fast, and let them break their fast upon dates. And if they don't find dates, then let them break their fast upon water, for indeed it's a purification. Now, also the thing that's mentioned regarding the mannerisms of fasting, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من لم يدع قول الزور والعمل به والجهل فليس لله حاجة في أن يدع طعامه وشرابه. رواه Al-Bukhari. So here mentions whoever does not leave off false speech or false testimony and acting upon this, then Allah has no need for them to leave off their food and their drink. And acting upon it, and ignorance, then Allah has no need for them to leave off their food and their drink. So false idle speech, false speech and bearing false witness of the things that will nullify a person's reward of siyam. The reward will be nullified. Doesn't mean the salat siyam is invalid. However, the reward for it may be void.
Sorry, does that include lying as well?
No. Say again?
Could you please?
So whoever does not leave off false speech and bearing false witness and acting upon that, wal jahl, and ignorance, then Allah has no need for them to leave off their food and their drink. Just hope it doesn't ever settle. So again, there's those actions that may impact a person's reward, not the validity of their siyam, but the reward of their fasting. Also, وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من مات وعليه صيام فصام عنه وليه. Whoever dies and they are in debt with siyam, and they have days that they are supposed to have made up, then a guardian of theirs can make it up on their behalf. So of the things that a relative can do is make up siyam for the deceased relatives, if they, as long as they know they had days to make up that they didn't get to make up. They can make it up on their behalf. That's obviously of the ways يمكن انتفاع الميت. Of the ways one person can aid the deceased is by making up the days that they have missed of fasting.
And that's just any person, it doesn't have to be a relative. Just someone who knows.
It could be. It could be. No. بل أولى من كان من الوارث, those who inherit. الولي هنا الوارث, يعني the one who inherits from them. One of the inheritors would be the one that would make it up. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سئل عن صيام أو صوم يوم العرفة, and he was asked about fasting the day of Arafah, and he mentions يكفر السنة الماضية والباقية, that it will expiate the sins of the previous year and the year ahead. وسئل عن صيام عاشوراء فقال يكفر السنة الماضية. As for يوم العاشوراء, then it will expiate the year before it. وسئل عن صوم يوم الاثنين فقال ذاك يوم ولدت فيه وبعثت فيه أو أنزل علي فيه, رواه مسلم. When he's asked about the day of Monday, he said, that is a day that I was born in, and a day that I was sent as a messenger on, and also the day that I received revelation. Those misguided people, they say this shows that the Prophet ﷺ, that shows it's permissible to celebrate your birthday. But the Prophet ﷺ fasted every Monday. He wasn't born every Monday of the year. So this logical argument that they tried to come with, this is batil, has no basis. Because it wasn't acknowledged as a means of celebrating his birthday. The Prophet ﷺ being born on that day is a blessing because it's the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So, also as for tahdeed at-tariq, as for the specification of literally the date, then this is not affirmed as to which date it was. There's a number of opinions regarding which date it was, but we just know it was a Monday. Now, as we mentioned, it wasn't solely that he was born on that day, he was also received prophethood on that day, and he also received revelation on that day. Also, the actions are raised to Allah Azza wa Jal during these times. So it's not something that a person specifies as those who say, oh, you should fast your birthday. This is batil also. This is batil also. But this is just evident of there's other types of fasting that are voluntary, that are virtuous. That are virtuous and highly rewardable. Also, we have regarding Ramadan, من صام قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه ستا من شوال كان كصيام الدهر رواه Muslim. Whoever fasts Ramadan and then follows it with 6 of Shawwal, it's as if they fasted the whole year. So if they fasted, Ad-Dahr in this hadith it mentions as-sana kamil, it means the whole year. Wallahu a'lam. Also, it's gonna come actually. قال أبو ذر رضي الله عنه أمرنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نصوم من الشهر 3 أيام 13 و14 و15 and رواه النسائي والترمذي. Mentioned the Prophet ﷺ commands us to fast 3 days from each month, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th. أي أيام البيض, the 3 white days. أيام البيض. And that was, for example, regarding an issue that people don't understand. And sometimes we have to kind of pay attention to details. We spoke about a number of times the bid'ah of fasting Nifs Sha'ban, the 15th of Sha'ban. And a person starts asking, but what if I'm fasting the white days? There's no need to ask if I'm fasting the white days. You're not fasting Nifs Sha'ban. Because it's clear, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. You're fasting the white days. You know, your intention is not to fast Nisf Sha'ban because of Nisf Sha'ban. You're fasting 13th, 14th, and 15th because it's the Ayyam al-Bid, which you would have fasted any month. So it has nothing to do with the 15th of Sha'ban. So these things a person is to bear in mind. Of the version of the hadith, إنما الأعمال بالنيات, يعني النية تفرق بين الأشياء. يعني the niyyah, it distinguishes between things. So a person should ponder and reflect. You don't have to ask questions about this, just reflect. What's my intention? Am I fasting Nisf Sha'ban or am I fasting Ayyam al-Bid? If I'm fasting the 3 white days, then I don't need to ask about that because it's something totally separate. So again, it's important that we understand the difference between the intention that we have for particular actions. Now,
So is it applicable to the one who precedes Ramadan with a few days, as long as their intention isn't?
if, for example,
They usually fast it.
you're usually fasting and it's like the couple days before Ramadan was like Thursday, you usually fast on a Thursday, then you still fast. But if yours is just in case it's precaution, then this is la yajuz. This is not permissible. But if that day before Ramadan was, it might be Monday. You see, before Ramadan, you're fasting on Monday. So that's your norm to fast that Monday. Okay? Ramadan might be Tuesday or the Wednesday. You're not doing that fast out of just in case.
Yeah.
Or you fasted the most of Sha'ban because that's what the Prophet ﷺ did. So you carried on fasting the whole of Sha'ban, and you still fasting a couple of days before Ramadan started. Not out of fear that you're going to miss the day Ramadan starts, but out of Siyam Sha'ban, fasting the month of Sha'ban as also being something virtuous and encouraged by as the practice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As it mentions, for example, Naha an Siyami Yawmain, Yawm al-Fitr wa Yawm al-Nahr, also of those days that were prohibited for a person to fast is the day of Yawm of Eid. The day of Eid. Both days of Eid are not allowed to fast. Also, Ayyam al-Tashriq. Ayyam al-Tashriq is the 3 days after Eid al-Adha. You know, when everyone says Eid is 3 days, Eid is 1 day. You have Ayyam al-Tashriq. Ayyam al-Tashriq, as the Prophet said, Ayyam aklin wa shurbin wa dhikrin lillah. They are days of food and drink and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, we have the hadith the Prophet mentions, لا يصومن أحدكم يوم الجمعة إلا أن يصوم يوما قبله أو يوما بعده متفق عليه. None of you should fast on Friday unless they fast a day after or a day before it. So you can't fast it by yourself. You can't fast Friday by yourself. You have to fast it with the day before or the day after. That's why you have difference of opinion regarding fasting Yom Sebt, fasting on Saturday. And some use this hadith, but this hadith mentions what? Friday. So if Yom Al-Arafah was on Saturday, for example, you can fast the Saturday by itself. Now, there's ikhtilaf, but from what Wallahu A'lam, that which I'm more inclined to is that you can fast Saturday that has a reason to be fasted, like Yom Al-Ashura, Yom Al-Arafah, and the likes. But if it was Yom Al-Jum'ah, then you should fast one day before or after. But as for fasting the day by itself, then la. As came in the hadith clearly, not to fast Friday alone. Let me have the hadith of the virtue of Ramadan. Man sama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi. ومن قام ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه متفق عليه. Whoever fasts the month of Ramadan out of Iman, belief in his obligation, that is a pillar of Islam that has been obligated upon the Muslims, seeking the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal, then their sins will be forgiven. And what's mentioned, yani as-saghair, the minor sins. As for the major sins, فَلَا بُدْ مِنَ التَّوْبَةِ. As for the major sins, then it's a must that a person makes at Tawbah. Also, the things that is encouraged, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يعتكف العشر الأواخر من رمضان حتى توفاه الله واعتكف أزواجه من بعده متفق عليه. That the Prophet ﷺ would do i'tikaf the last 10 nights and his wives continued that practice after his death. So he did this until he died, and his wives would continue this after his death, that they would make i'tikaf in the masajid in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Also was mentioned لا تشد الرحال إلا إلى 3 مساجد المسجد الحرام والمسجد هذا والمسجد الأقصى متفق عليه. That person should not exert efforts to travel into any masajid except for these 3 masajid. Now, that person should not intend just to go out of their way and travel specifically to visit any masjid other than these 3 that have been mentioned. And tashud al-rihal, because it's mentioned like the traveling comes with a burden. Traveling is burdensome. The person should not exert effort in journey to visit a masjid other than the Masjid al-Haramain or Masjid al-Aqsa. Now. So we'll stop there today, inshallah, and we'll continue with other matters related to as-siyam. In more details of that which is any from the things that are disliked, nullifies of Islam, of Siyam and the likes, in the next sitting, inshallah ta'ala. Naam. Any questions؟ طيب فنكتفي بهذا القدر. اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.